Hello, hello. Welcome to Unique Couple Sunday Night Live. Welcome, welcome, all of you. Go ahead, hashtag live squad if you are here with us live. If you're catching the replay, hashtag replay. We love, love, love hearing from you. And of course, when Vito is not here, I'm still used to saying we because he's there somewhere in the background, somewhere. And we are kind of doing this and everything together. So even though he is not physically here, he is here. And so I'm all excited about our topic for today and our special guest. It is all about being resilient, how to be resilient. We're talking about in love, relationship, health, and more. And we have someone here today who has a lot to share with about her experience in being resilient. In fact, she wrote an entire book about it. And so, hello, Martie. How
Hello.
are you?
Hello, Linda. Grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. I just really want to share what's worked for me, and somehow that little grain of sand rubs someone in the right way, and affects us uh, as a humanity, because we all need resilience. So I'm happy to share.
Definitely, definitely. And it's like, sometimes we think we get so consumed, or we feel the burden of whatever situation or problem that we are in. And then sometimes we think that's it, that we can't recover, that we can't move on, that this is it, this is life, and this is all that life has to offer. And then we realize that, hey, someone did it. Someone recovered, someone got over it. I can do it too. And so that is why I just absolutely love the fact that you are here to share your personal story of being resilient and share your experiences. So tell us a little bit about you. For those of you who are watching, we want to say, if you have questions, go ahead and type your questions in the comments. And if you have any takeaways, of course, let us know what stood out to you as well. And don't forget to share, share, share. Go ahead, let someone know that we are here, Unique Couple Sunday Night Live. So go ahead and share with someone, because the person you help might just be your next friend, your next whoever. It
Partner.
could be yourself. Yes. It could be yourself. So
Right.
we love to share, we love to help. And so sharing in this case is definitely going to be helping. So go ahead, share, let someone know that we are talking about resilience, and everyone needs to definitely be that. We be resilient. We face so many different things in our lives. So if you have any questions, type it in the comments. Let us know your takeaways, and go and share, 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 share. Okay. And for those of you who are married, don't forget, you can join us in our Unique Couples Marriage Club. Go ahead, hashtag club in the comments, and get interviewed to be a part of our Unique Couples Marriage Club exclusively for married couples. And you can book your one-on-one session with Vito and Linda to have your relationship check up. Okay, so Martie, share a little about who you are all the way, because I know you're in the States now, but this was not your original home and you moved like several times. So just tell us a little
Yeah.
about who you are.
Well, first of all, I'm Martie Smith. It's Martha, but Martie is my nickname. And I was born in Colombia, South America. When I was young, I was 5 years old, and we moved to the United States, but we kept moving. And I've moved 49 times in my lifetime.
Wow,
And
49.
two countries, Venezuela and Colombia, were constant hop back and forth, as well as most of the eastern coast of the United States, and as far out as Arizona. I'm an Air Force vet, so I was in the Air Force. I've had an adventurous life, a Jackie of all trades, mistress of none. And I just, everywhere I went, I always thought, ah, I always felt frustrated because I was get adjust to my comfort zone. And then all of a sudden, here in the middle of a school year, we'd have to move somewhere else. So it's like, I was always in fighting to first of all understand what culture I was in, because there was the matter of not only the language but the cultures, and learning all the different things. But So I kept seeing that there was a pattern. When the pandemic hit, I
Mhm.
realized that these repetitive patterns were causing that emotional luggage. And I took a whole bunch of courses, and started learning a lot more about myself. Even if I thought I knew myself, I really didn't. And I blamed the world. I blamed the world for everything that went wrong. I had been engaged twice. My parents had tried to arrange the first marriage. The second marriage, I was madly in love with the guy, but he wanted me to choose between my parents and him. So there was always some kind of trauma or drama attached to it.
Mhm.
But the third was a charm. And I met my husband here in Cary, North Carolina in 1982. And we
Wow.
had just moved, and he was telling me that he worked in this town close by, but I didn't know anything about the area. I worked at a bowling alley. He met me there. He was waiting for his buddies to play Midnight Madness, and I served him a pitcher of beer. And I just kind of felt like, oh wow, something like love at first sight, but that you're like fighting it. Like, I know I've already been
Mhm.
engaged twice. I don't want. I wanted to go into Peace Corps and just go work somewhere in a third world country because I didn't really want to fall in love anymore. Well, I met this guy in May. We got engaged in August, and we got married in the Catholic Church the following February. And to me, it was the best decision I've ever made because he has been more than met those marriage vows that for better or for worse. Trust me, he got a lot of the worse in the deal, but he's been such a blessing. he
Wow.
um he saw me through a lot. I've had 26 surgeries in my lifetime, with and most of them with him. And also he saw me through the worst time in my life when I ended up in debilitated. My muscles had atrophied and I could hardly stand, so I ended up being in a wheelchair. And he delivered more than I ever expected. And to me, I knew he was the right guy to begin with, but I didn't know to what extent. Now, after 40 years of
Wow.
blessings, I can tell you that I never I never doubted his love. I never doubted his strength and his ability to push me, and pull me. Because I, at one time, in fact, when we got married, I wanted to get married to him, and I was in love, but not to the point that I knew a lot about myself. I really didn't know have a real purpose or passion because I had moved so many times and I didn't even think that was a thing to do. It's
Mhm.
like, whatever comes my way, I'll wing it. That's how I used to be. But now I see that I had left my passion along the way because of all these things that happened. And it was awesome during the pandemic that I was able to do a lot of introspection. And in there, I discovered, Martie, God made you resilient. Look at all the things you've bounced back from. I've almost
Mhm.
lost my life twice during the surgeries and everything. So I know that God had a higher purpose for me. Now I'm out of that wheelchair. I don't have any braces. I don't wear a cane. I even lost the ability to wear glasses, which I had three visions to look at. And I'm a walking miracle is what I am. And I became a personal trainer at 60. And to me,
Wow.
that was unreal because, first of all, I was back on my feet, but not just back on my feet, moving and feeling alive. And that thriving. I lost 70 pounds, 70 inches. Of course, my husband fell in love all over again with me because this was something new for him. You're like, wow. And then I started feeling like I needed to share this message. And I went on one of these free master classes about writing a book. And I said, I got a book in me. No, as a matter of fact, I got several books in me. I started
Mhm.
seeing that I needed to share this. And it makes me feel good to be able to say that I have overcome and survived all these things with the grace of God. And that's what I want other people to not give up, especially the older, because I am now collecting Social Security, but I feel like I'm better now than I was at 25. And I can't argue with that. I'm doing the things that I love to do and I'm getting paid for it. On top of that, I feel so, I don't know, just bubbling with energy and wanting change the world a little bit better than what I found it. That's my legacy. We weren't able to have children, but God was good to me that way too, because I became a Sunday school teacher, and in there I started seeing all these kids that were 8 years old, and now I've kept up with them, and now they're grown kids. They have their kids, and it's like those little seeds that you plant, and maybe think one day they'll do something with it. I've witnessed the miracle of what that does for you. So I think I'm blessed being a pseudo mom to a lot of these kids, and it's
Wow.
just it's enlightening to see that just because it doesn't go the way that they tell you it's supposed to go,
Hmm.
doesn't mean that God doesn't replace all those things that we need to thrive and throws them in there. So I feel very blessed, and I could die a happy person because I've done a lot of things that I never imagined doing.
Wow, wow. So you mentioned quite a bit of things were happening. You talk about the three relationships. You talk about what 26 surgeries. You talked about, not you got you and your husband not being able to have kids. Like you were facing all of these different things. How did you manage to, like you're sitting here today and we're looking at you and hearing you, and you're bubbly and you're exciting and you're talking about all these surgeries and all of these different things, and now you're coaching people and you're helping people, and you're saying, so like how did it feel like when you were in those situations? Did you think that, oh,
Oh,
I'll get out of this, like you were positive, or was it because of an experience that made you how you are today?
I think well, my first trauma that I can remember, I was 7 years old, and my parents and parents say things sometimes they don't realize to what extent they can injure you. And I've healed, and in fact this book has helped me heal a lot of the things that I used to look at as, no, they hurt me, they damaged me. I was damaged goods because I had heard, you're a mistake, we didn't plan for you, and we didn't want girls. So I'm like, well, how am I to blame for that? But I feel now, and for me to say this is, I've come a long way, that
Hmm.
they did me a favor because they planted that me wanting to maybe not prove to them or to the world that I was valuable. I was going to prove to myself, one way, shape, or form, that I was going to prove to myself that I could be something worthwhile and remembered. So, and it's happening because when you let go and let God, that's when things start, kind of flowing for you. But my faith was the number one thing I think that had that turnaround. Now, I was raised a Catholic since I was a baby, but I didn't get it until I was in that wheelchair, that God was the number one reason why I had been surviving all these things. But I didn't quite get it to the extent that I needed to, because this was back in the 1990s. It wasn't until the pandemic that I started putting all those like pieces together of the
Hmm.
puzzle. And then God started throwing in all the stepping stones that I needed to get to my goal or my passion of wanting to share with people the goodness of life, and what makes us thrive, and to not give up because you think you're old or you're handicapped or whatever. And I started seeing all these examples, because I'm not, I might be unique in what's happened to me, but I'm not the only one in this world that's gone through hell.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm grateful that I didn't go the other way to the point that I just self-destroyed. But there was always that tendency to blame, like I said, the rest of the people around me,
Yes.
and not really focus that it was my limiting beliefs, that it was my way of thinking, my interpretation of my reality, that was adding to that mix of trauma and pain. And when you take a look at the big picture, you start sorting out all the junk in the trunk, and they see with clarity, okay, all right, this was an experience, this was an opportunity. Now when you see the situation again, you react differently, you look at it from a different angle, find the good in all the stuff that happens, and it makes a big difference. So that's what
Um,
I'm learning to do. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I can sure but bounce back now than I compared to how I used to when I was younger. I was
awesome.
very, very depressed back then.
Wow. So the situation that you have gone through, one situation, and overcoming that allowed you to build more resilience for another situation that you encounter. So it's like
Right.
take the lessons and learn and move on. Take the positive from out of the situation. Okay, so I know you wanted to share some of the tips that you use to help you be resilient. So those of you who are just tuning in, we want to say welcome, welcome. It's Unique Couples Sunday Night Live, and I am here with our special guest, Martie Smith, all the way from Cary, North Carolina, and she is sharing today how to be resilient. And she's sharing her story. So we're talking about love, relationship, health, and more. Martie has already said, she had 26 surgeries. She has moved. Did I get
49.
it right?
Yeah.
49 times.
But
49 times in her lifetime, and she is still living and lost inches and a whole lot of pounds. And she is able to share what she did with others. So go ahead and share with us, Martie,
okay.
some of the tips that those of you who are watching, if it's a relationship, it's love,
And
it's your life, you can go ahead and use these tips to
and
help
some
you be
in
resilient.
in my marriage, because 40 years of marriage, and I say we've been married 40 years, but I think it's been more like 80, because we work together, and most couples only spend the evenings and the weekends. No,
Yes.
we were morning, noon, and night. And of course, me being with all these medical things is like, like not the best of ideal situations. But my husband,
Mhm.
he just he he was such a inspiration for me to keep going. And he was my why of why I needed to be more communicative with him. I think that number one important thing in a couple's marriage is communication. It's that ability to incorporate that resilience. But if you don't communicate, you don't know what to bounce back from. You don't know what adversity that person is suffering. So if you don't discuss it, then you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to solve through it. And that's what you do. That's what we do as a couple. Is we have a lot of conversations about how are we going to fix this. Invest instead of, oh, this is terrible, look at this and look at this, what happened, and we're broke, and we're handicapped, and I don't know, and what's going to happen, we don't have kids. You could count your blessings instead of rehashing all the stuff that you can't do anything about that's happened.
Yeah.
And so I use that as an experience. Another thing is to resolve conflicts in a constructive manner. And if one thing doesn't work, don't worry about it. But never argue when you always feel, when this is our ego wanting to take over and say, oh, I know what I'm talking about, I'm saying the right thing. And that's where
Mhm.
most arguments stem from.
Yeah.
Who's right. But it's not about who's right.
Yeah.
It's more about, how important is this to jeopardize my relationship? Is it really that important for me to prove that something that everybody already knows, only you have a different version? No. So I say that when you argue, stop, walk away from each other, go do your thing, and you come back a couple of hours later, you won't be arguing about it. You'll even think, and we've learned to laugh about the silliness of our arguments, because a lot of it was, no, it's this way, no, it's that way, and it's silly. But we don't think about that. Another thing is, prioritize your time together. Life is
Okay.
short. We can't focus all the time on making money and trying to save up for our retirement, because it may not get here, or it may not be like the way we planned. So
Mhm.
start building those memories together and prioritize that. Be it just go out for a walk. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. God gave us surround sound and sense around in nature. If all we do is
Oh
walk
yeah.
out the door, and admire all the miracles that are around us, we don't have to worry about going to go find the best hotel or the best food or this, that, and the other. And everything is overrated sometimes anyway. So we've learned along the way that it's not about the money, it's about the quality. So
Yeah.
Another thing is show appreciation and express that appreciation to the other, because we only got each other, and if you don't acknowledge that that person is valuable, then you're just like feel alone, or you're just going through the motions of something that's not connecting you and making you feel like you're part of each other. So that's important. And be willing to compromise. There's always going to be that compromise. It's not what we want, it's what works with each other. And that is important too, because life is tough. I mean, I don't have to tell anybody, especially within the last 3 years, how rough it can be. But at
Yes,
the same
indeed.
time, at the same time, for me, it's been like enlightening, and like all these little tools that I was earning from God giving me that resilience along the way have come in very handy and have helped me, um, I guess, transgress through all this we've had in a different fashion. At one point in time, when the pandemic got here, I was like, uh-oh, here I go again. I'm going right down the road when I was in that wheelchair and being handicapped and not being able to move. And I was like, I no, I can't deal with this. So I kind of already knew that this isn't going to be the same thing again. And I was grateful that I saw the outlet of learning about who I am inside, learning about how to be compassionate and have empathy for the other
Mhm.
people. It's not, like I said, it's not about being right. It's about doing the right thing. And just cultivate positivity, and always find extra things to learn together, or and also grow each other on your own. You don't have to be, like glue. You don't have to be, and trust, because that's how you earn trust. And my husband is happy doing his stuff, and I'm happy doing my stuff. But when we're together, we're even happier together, just sharing all the things that we've learned or accomplished along the way. So it's important, and build respect and understanding that, and have faith in yourself, and have faith in God, and that will get you a long way.
Wow, wow. Yeah. So going back to what you said about you and your spouse, that you take time individually to do things, and you take time out, and then when you come together, of course it's better. That is something that a lot of couples may find or think is counterproductive what we're talking about in terms of being united and having a healthy relationship. But I find that that is definitely something that works and possibly need to happen. But how did you two do that? Because you're saying that you're together around the clock because you were building a business together, you were doing all of these things together. So how did y'all manage to find time
Well, but
apart while
I used to
still
be
being there?
I used to be very, very, I guess, attached to my husband, and I didn't want him to go anywhere without me. Why? Because of the history that I had along the way. It's like, I can't let this one go. This one is a keeper to me.
Mhm,
It's like it
mhm.
was all about me being selfish. But no, no. I learned that by letting him do his thing, he'd come back, more fulfilled, happier, and I we developed that trust. So another thing is that we were a team. We were a team, and it's like, you go, you in fact, before we got married, I said, you're not going to get a housewife that's going to cook and clean for you, because I've been one since I was 5 years old without the fringe benefits. And he said, no, no, we're going to be a team. We're going to be a team. And I know how to change the oil. I know how to mow a lawn. He knows how to fold clothes. He knows how to wash it. He knows how to cook. And it's just like we complement each other, and it makes it more fun to work that way, instead of being on your own. Ah, I gotta cook, I gotta clean, I gotta do laundry, I gotta this. No, it was like life happens, but those little moments in time
Mhm.
that are a necessity for us to do are more enjoyable when you share them with together, or
Yes.
or or cuss about them together at the same time. It's like, we have to do this. Okay, let's just get it done and over with. We'll celebrate when it's done. So 40 years will teach you how to do that.
That's awesome because it's just so much more um it's just so much more exciting. I don't know if to say exciting is the word, but it's just so much more um more pleasurable to be able to say, okay, we have to do this and let us get it
Mhm.
out of the way. And both of you complain that, oh man, we have these dishes to do, oh man, we have the yard to mow, as opposed to just one person feeling the burden of all of that. And
Right.
yes, yes. So I know you talked about the surgeries, and we have, when you go through surgeries, with all of those of you who went through surgeries, you would know there's a recovery time. There's a moment when you're basically helpless and can't really do anything for yourself. So how did y'all manage? You and your husband manage during those times? Because now I'm assuming that he's kind of like doing everything, having to take care of you as well.
Yes, yes, and I was amazed. I was amazed because I grew up in South America, and that I didn't witness any of that situation in my lifetime. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh gosh, now I'm in that negativity. That's why I say be positive, because when you
Mhm.
have that negativity in you, you start feeling like a burden, even if you're not. And you just add more fuel to that fire of being hopeless, helpless, and totally frozen in time, that you can't do anything. No, I, I had that attitude of gratitude. I became very grateful for everything he was doing along the way, but I
Mhm.
didn't notice it until I wrote the book, that just how much, to what extent he had, dedicated himself. And he was very patient and very resourceful and very loving. And I think as I was growing in my faith, I started seeing that it was God putting that grace in him as well, because he easily could have said, oh, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
That's not what I married, or that's. And there's a lot of people that go through that, and it's not. It doesn't have to be that way. We're still, in essence, we're still a soul. We may not be 100% in functioning capacity as a body, but everything that comes from your heart is what matters, and that's what we're going to leave behind when we're gone from each other. Is what stays in here, the memories and the
Yes.
love that grows and thrives and makes you stay alive and keep going and wanting to help others. So
Yes. Yes. Yes, because we would hear and we'd see situations, or people might even be experiencing, watching now, maybe experiencing that, where their spouse is not physically where they were 10, 20, or even yesterday,
right.
much less 40 years ago. Things are different. We grow, we change, there's sickness, things happen. And then when these things are happening, some of us believe that, oh, I didn't sign up for this. But the vows, when we made them, were really in sickness and in health, in good times and in bad. So it's good that you guys, after 40 years, that you could, sit here and tell us about how, you went through all of this, and your husband was there to support you. And we
Yeah,
just want to say kudos to him, and to
absolutely.
the faith that you guys practice, that you are
Mhm.
able to navigate through that. And I just want to say to those persons who are listening, who are watching, you can navigate through whatever situation it is that you're going through as well. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to feel as if you're a burden. You don't have to make your spouse feel as if they're a burden. If you find that they're not in that, they're facing illness, they're still that individual. Like you said, it's the memories and all of that that will keep the relationship and really keep you for the long haul. So don't give up. Still be kind, still be grateful to your spouse for what you have, and make the most of it. Look for the positive in the situation that you are in, and watch God work miracles in your lives. Awesome, awesome. It has been wonderful speaking to Martie Smith, who is joining us from Cary, North Carolina. She has an amazing, amazing, amazing story of resilience. You will hear more about it. Martie, you wrote a book as well. Let us know about your book, and how you can let us know how we can go ahead and get it. It's Resilience Nourishes the Soul. You can get your copy. Let us know how we can get our copy of the
Well,
book.
First, you can follow me on Facebook under Martie Smith. If not, there's a Amazon link that we're going to leave with you, and just reach out to me. And there's my phone number through WhatsApp, and I'd be glad to communicate with you. But something else that I wanted to mention that I forgot to, it was something about when we get in that situation that we don't want to be right, we have a hard time forgiving, but forgiveness is the number one thing that else also got easier as you learn to let go, and you start seeing that whatever that reality is for each one of you, it's your reality, but it's not the actual thing that's happening. So we all have that imperfection in us. So we're not perfect. We have to remember that we're not perfect. We don't have all the solutions. But if you don't have and don't find those solutions with you or with your couple, reach out to people that are experts. Reach out to the coaches that help you find those little things that get in the way of that smooth, and nothing is smooth, but make it smoother along the way of that relationship with your husband or wife. It's just like you have to know each other, but you have to know yourself first of all,
Yeah.
and never blame, forgive. It goes away, and the more you do it, the more you practice forgiveness, the easier it gets, because then you become empathetic and you understand. So that's
So
one thing I wanted to leave everybody with.
awesome, awesome. So you can go ahead, get Martie's book, Resilience Nourishes the Soul. You can get a copy on Amazon. Follow her on Facebook at Martie Smith. And then you can WhatsApp her at 919-338-4061. You can also get in contact with her that way. And I'm sure she will be happy to share more of her story. You have to come back again. Of course, we wouldn't have the time to go through all of that, but those experiences, I can just imagine those experiences, those surgeries. Oh, 26, just thinking about that, just thinking about all of the moving and just yeah,
It's
that's
a
a
lot.
lot. It's a lot.
It's,
It's
it's more
a
it's
lot.
more than my resume. It's,
Yes, because I
but
don't
it's
think we,
good.
yeah, we would have 46 jobs. No, I don't think so. So that really is a lot. And we just want to say, for those of you who are experiencing, whether it's a decline in health of a loved one or your spouse, or even your physical health declining, or any matter of, I mean, any area that your health is declining, we want to say, you can overcome. You can overcome. Um, Follow some of the tips Martie mentioned today. Go ahead and grab her book and know that you are not alone. Okay. If she can do it, you can do it too. There are a lot of people who are out here in the world who are experiencing some of the same things that you are. So get connected. Help is always available. We are here for you. So go ahead. For those of you who are married, go ahead and join us in the Unique Couples Marriage Club hashtag club. Go ahead and message us. And then, of course, book your one-on-one relationship checkup with Vito and Linda. The links are in the description. You can also find the link for Martie's book in the description as well. So go ahead and get connected. Like we said, help is always available. Martie talked about doing the courses and the different things, and that was able to help her through some of the things that she was going through. So connect with someone, read a book, do something. Something is always there. You can always improve yourself. And by improving yourself, you can also improve your relationship. So you are not alone. Get the help. Help is always available. And we are here to help you. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We love you. Love you. Go ahead, connect with us. Ladies, we have something special just for you. You don't want to miss it. It is back by popular demand. It is our Think Like a Mistress Masterclass. You want to definitely do that and back it up with action. We are talking about step-by-step instructions, insights on how to keep your husband satisfied on all levels. So be sure to register to join us for the virtual Think Like a Mistress Masterclass on May 22nd to 23rd. Go ahead and join us for that, all of our ladies. And we have something special for ladies, married, single, divorced, engaged, whatever you are. We have something special for you, our women's conference coming up as well. So listen out, stay tuned. If you're not in our How to Strengthen Your Marriage Facebook group, go ahead and join us in our free club where you will get updates and announcements and more. Okay, so a special shout out goes to our Unique Couple sponsors and supporters: Hair to Please, The Nail Creation Lab by Anna, Party with Serenity, Style Me Pretty, Cornerstone Insurance, Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith, Total Grace Solutions with Thaddeus and Amanda Randolph, and Alouette Designs. Go ahead, remember, register for our Think Like a Mistress Masterclass. Go ahead, type connect in the chat and join us for that. And we will be ready with all your questions, all the insights, and all the tips that you need. Take what is yours. The rest, like watermelon, you could spit out the seeds, but we're going to have a great time. And I think this will be our third year with our Think Like a Mistress Masterclass, and it just keeps getting better. So we are unique couples building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. Love you all. Bye. See you later. Thanks,
God
Martie.
bless. Thank you for having me. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.